So, how can total absolute collapse actually lead to justice? We're going to jump back to the end of World War II and see how the complete ruin of an empire was, believe it or not, the first step toward a global reckoning with its crimes. Okay, picture this. It's May 1945. For 6 long years, the world has been at war. It's a moment that would not just end a conflict, but completely rewrite the rules of international law. But look, this wasn't just some treaty signing or a simple surrender. This was a total unconditional collapse. The entire Nazi regime, the government, the military, the ideology, all of it was about to be completely erased. So first, let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this. This was the sudden, violent end of an empire that was supposed to last for 1,000 years. So what do we really mean by collapse here? Because it's so much more than just a government changing hands or a leader stepping down. The key word is complete dissolution. We're not talking about a simple reform or a bit of restructuring. No, this was the total disintegration of the whole system. The political parties, the army, the secret police, and the twisted ideology that powered it all. And get this, the whole thing lasted just 12 years. It burst onto the scene in 1933 and was just gone by 1945. Imagine being part of a generation that knew nothing else, and then watching it all just vanish into thin air. And this brings us to the really crucial question, right? Once the fighting stopped and the dust settled, what did we actually find in the ruins? The world was about to get a good, hard look at what had been festering in the darkness. Because this collapse uncovered crimes so unbelievably extreme, they would literally change our understanding of evil. It forced the entire world to confront the evidence, right then and there. The atrocities were so horrific, they actually had to invent a new legal term for them: crimes against humanity. See, existing laws covered war crimes between countries, but this was different. This new idea said that some acts are so fundamentally evil, they're an attack on all of us, on all people, everywhere, even when a government does it to its own citizens. Investigators uncovered these meticulously kept records of just sadistic medical experiments. Prisoners were frozen or deliberately exposed to fatal diseases, not for any real scientific reason, but as acts of pure cruelty, treating human beings like they were nothing more than lab rats. And you have to understand, this wasn't just random violence. It was systematic. Torture was an organized, almost bureaucratic tool of the state. It was used methodically to terrorize people, to control them. It was literally woven into the fabric of the regime itself. So, how does a world reeling from all this even begin to move forward? Well, ironically, the answer was in the ruin itself. That total destruction had to happen before justice could even be a possibility. And this, right here, is the core connection. The ruin wasn't getting in the way of justice. It was the only possible path to it. Think about it. As long as the regime's judges and police and leaders were still in power, there was no way to get real accountability. Only by tearing it all down could you create a clean slate for justice to begin. This quote just nails it. The collapse wasn't just the war ending. It was the beginning of something new, a global reckoning, a whole new chapter for international law, and for the very idea that power must answer for its crimes. And that leaves us with a question that still echoes today, long after 1945. When a destructive ideology finally falls apart, how do we make sure that real, meaningful justice is what actually rises from the ashes?